Hello, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Waynesboro Area School District Board of Directors for September the 8th, 2020. And we'll start our meeting off with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have, of our 8 board members, we have 7 present. Mrs. Sullivan, you want to just verify you're here?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So we have 8 board members present tonight. Our first item is to approve the agenda. I don't believe we have any additions to the agenda, Dr. Klein. In that case, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next is the minutes. Do we have any? Oh. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Anybody have any issues or anything you need to bring up for that? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, next item is our superintendent's report.
All right. I just want to let you know our first week of school is behind us. Technically, actually, number of student days, 9 of them are completed. So 171 to go. So anyhow, with that being said, a couple of things just to remind everyone. We've had 1 confirmed case in the district. That was a middle school student. And at this point, all those students that would have been within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more have been notified and are considered exposed to that case. And all those people were notified. And we did send out a letter to middle school parents notifying them that there was a case in the building. And then I released a video today just letting the community know and everyone else that there was a case in the district. And we'll continue that process as time goes on. One of the things I want to make sure that everyone is clear that we do have a number of students that do end up at home because their parents have tested positive. There's not one case or situation that we've had in the district that we believe any student would have gotten or staff member would have contracted anything from anyone during the school day. We don't have any proof that that would have happened. Because of the timing of things, it looks like anyone that was exposed or to a case, it would have been because that case had occurred from outside, so even the students. So just want to make sure people understand that's what we believe it right now it is going on because of the timing. Administration, second thing is administration is not recommending continuing the virtual Wednesdays at this time for October. The Wednesdays are great help. They've been helpful to us getting prepared to go online learning if we need to. But for October, we believe that we can discontinue or at least put it on hold, but we still believe we need to evaluate month to month if we do need to go back and use them. However, keep in mind that if we do need them at a certain time, I just need some time for the board to approve it so I can go back to the state and get those dates or those times approved. Because anything new we add to our plan, I have to go back to the state and get it approved. And our school health plan wasn't approved, they just collected, but our online version of education has to be approved, and they did approve what we've done so far. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. So anyhow, the third thing I had was that the Learning Center and the Career Center both have had Mrs. Reeker as a member. So I'm asking that if there's someone that could be a backup or be part of that, take Mrs. Reeker's place at the Career Center, at the Learning Center for those meetings. There is a Learning Center meeting, I believe this week at 6 o'clock, and it's virtual, but if we can get someone that could attend, I think Mrs. Straight, you're in that one too. So we have two people there. And I always encourage that both our members are always at those meetings because it's to our best interest that you do that. So.
Okay, so as a committee assignment then, I think we do have a volunteer for that.
Yes, I volunteer.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Zimmerman. And we would also put you on the personnel committee here, our local personnel committee, which would have been the third committee that Mrs. Reeker was part of. And if you fill that, we'll be very grateful for you stepping up to do that.
I was on personnel, so I am learning center as
Oh,
well.
you already are on personnel.
I'm already on personnel.
Okay, well then you can't be added to it. All right, then just do the other two.
Learning
Okay.
center and.
Okay. Unless anybody else would like to step up and take those positions. Okay. Well, it sounds like personnel, I was wrong, that she wasn't on
Do
personnel.
we need someone for the career center?
No, I
Career
don't think,
center?
I think I was incorrect.
You were incorrect.
I was incorrect,
So
I'm sorry.
I'll step up to
My
career
mistake.
center and learning center in addition to my personnel.
In addition, okay, great. Okay, sorry about that. Okay,
And-
so if everybody's good with that, we don't need to vote on it. We'll just say thank you for being willing to serve in that way. Okay, and that was it, Dr. Klein, for the
That's it.
superintendents? Okay, next item is public comment. Anyone who would wish to speak, we ask you to give your name and address and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes. And we'd appreciate you coming up to the lectern there, whoever would like to speak.
My name's Kay Fitz. I live at 12609 Monterey Circle, Blue Ridge Summit. And I'm here as the executive director for Waynesboro Daycare Center. I do have a handout for you, so when I'm finished, so nothing gets misconstrued, you can have my notes. I noticed on your website, you said your vision is to hope to become the first choice school district for the community, parents and employees, and especially students. So my question to you is, why should you bus children from Waynesboro Daycare Center, not the other daycares? And I think my first point should end it, but I have several more. First of all, this July, we entered into an agreement to renew a partnership with your district to educate 15 students in pre-K counts. No other daycares in this town have that. This is our 4th year as a partner. And we never received official notification that buses service was going to be eliminated. I heard grumbling through the grapevine from the parents. I made a call. I talked to Todd. He was going to set up a meeting with him and Eric Holtzman. The meeting never happened. So as executive director, it's like, well, I guess it's not an issue. So just in case, I got a quote. We got a quote for $307 a day. I got a second quote for $250 a day. It will bankrupt the daycare center if we have to go this route. Our annual operating budget was already done by the time we were told of this issue, which was actually Monday, August 31st at lunchtime when I went to lunch on the first day of school. That's when I got the official notification that buses would be eliminated to Hooverville and Maury. 3 out of the 4 students now attending Maury are attending Maury this year. They didn't other years because of your redistricting plan. They didn't move, you changed the lines. 15 of the 17 who go to Fairview are at the center before 7:30 in the morning, which is when the YMCA program opens in your buildings. So that's no help either. If you look up the definition of a partnership, it's defined as an arrangement where parties agree to cooperate to advance their mutual interests. How does eliminating bus service to Waynesboro Daycare Center advance our partnership? If you're true to your vision, as stated on your website, and you do not want these students signing up for cyber charter school that takes money away from you, I certainly hope that you change your minds. If you could.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak today?
My name is Josh Akers. I live at 10615 Old Forge Road. I'm going to open that I was affected with your guys' redistricting decision. I moved to Waynesboro, and whenever I moved to Waynesboro, I chose our kids' daycare. I chose our kids' school. We live 2.5 miles from Hooverville. Now she's going to Maury, which is on the other end of town. I dropped my daughter off at 6:05 in the morning My wife and I both work in Frederick. In order to get to work on time, it's physically impossible for us to run to the other end of town. And the financial aspect of it, can't do it either. So I can't make it to work on time. And the second aspect is I can't afford the upcharges that are being incurred for these buses to be private services to the daycare. When we moved here, it was all settled and I had everything figured out. Now that everything has been changed because everyone here changed it for me. So I would like to ask you what you're going to do to change this financial hardship and the hardship that's placed on my table that I have to try to make decisions for. This isn't the first time that I've tried to address this issue. I have a note here that was sent to the school and it was ignored. I had tried to set up several meetings through the district, calls, never answered, never returned, ignored. I understand everyone's in a crisis right now for the whole coronavirus and everything like that, but as a parent, I'm trying to keep my family together, whether it's financially, and right now, it's just not possible for me to continue my job and make sure my daughter gets to school. Cyber school is not an option for us at the time. And we have 2 working parents in the household and we both work at the same location. So again, I'm one of the people that was affected by it. I'm not the only one. I'm just here tonight to express my opinion.
Can I ask you, sir, when you said you sent that in? Did you
This was a letter.
When would that have been sent? Like
Whenever,
recently or back when we were doing redistricting?
whenever we got the notification that they were doing a redistricting.
Okay, so that would have been like last winter then, right?
Probably it was before the whole
Coronavirus. Okay, okay.
So this went out, I attached this to a letter that was sent out by the school stating that my daughter was now going to have to go to Maori.
Okay.
So I wrote on there that I declined and I attached this letter.
Okay. And you sent it to central office?
It went to her teacher and then teacher handing it in, so on and so forth. So that would have been.
I just didn't recall. I mean, I did get a lot of letters during redistricting. I did not recall seeing
If
yours,
you want to see the letter, you're more than welcome to.
Okay. I just was trying to clarify that it was when the redistricting wasn't like recently over the summer over this issue that we're looking at right now.
And I was not present for whenever they were discussing the whole redistricting thing because, like I said, had I known that I would get chopped off at 2.5 miles away from the school, I mean, maybe I build a left side of the school and they say that the left side of the school is going to Maori now. It's insanity. So one option that I pleaded for would have been to have my daughter picked up at the daycare center because the buses are already being sent down Old Forge Road to Maori. And if I understand, so they have to come out to pick up my daughter anyhow. So instead of just stopping there, you have another 2.5 miles that they would have to go to pick up multiple students, not just myself, and then completely eliminated.
Okay, and I can't address specific transportation issues right now, though.
Correct.
I would suggest perhaps you call Mr. Holtzman, who could perhaps clarify how that works. But I appreciate you bringing your concerns here today.
Address him for
because he's he would tell you more about transportation, about, you know, if you're asking about bus routes and why this and why that,
right,
he could clarify that.
Okay.
Or put you in touch with the person that can help explain that.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Erika Nemzik. I'm the early learning coordinator for the school district. Oh, excuse me. And my address is 318 Hickory Street, Mount Alto. So I am speaking tonight as on behalf of being a board member for the Waynesboro Daycare Center, but also giving my aspect as a district employee. I hope can I take this down? Am I allowed to?
You're 6 feet. I
Thank
think.
you. As a school district, we value the whole child. However, during the current circumstances, many of us in education are taking on and supporting the whole family, helping families to recover through the trauma of COVID-19 while also working to educate their child. Waynesboro Area School District has been fortunate to be able to support this goal of the whole child and the family through one of our opportunities with the Pre-K Counts grant. We have been even more fortunate to have 2 providers, First Start Partnerships and Waynesboro Daycare Center, and it's not always so easy to openly accept and foster partnerships like the ones we have created with these 2 providers and the school district. To be noted, the Waynesboro Daycare Center provides families residual care outside of the Pre-K Counts funded hours, and this is a huge service for our families. Because of our partnership, we have been able to include Pre-K Counts teachers in new teacher induction, trainings, programs, and workshops. We treat their staff as our own staff, and the children coming from these classrooms will transition through our district doors. In my opinion, busing from the Waynesboro Daycare Center should continue. It is part of what has built a trusted partnership between not only the center and the school district, but families in our community. Waynesboro Daycare Center opens their doors to those that are dropping off as early as 6 a.m. or picking up as late as 6 p.m. Location and hours are key ingredients, but the people in the center matter to the families. These workers are their child's family. Continuing to keep this built bridge is a major factor in helping the whole child, and that is what makes this district stand out above anybody surrounding us. Please keep all this in mind when making the decision to keep or cut the busing, as it acts as a major decision maker for many of our families, asking families to either find a new daycare or choose a new method of education. If still after all of this thought you find that it's still not feasible, then please give us the gift of grace and time as families and centers recover financially as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak today? Okay, I'm sure there will be discussion at some point further on this issue, but we thank you for making your points with us today. And any feedback, you're always welcome to call any board members. We're certainly willing to talk with you.
Can I address a board member?
You want to come up and speak, add something to what you were saying?
Yeah.
You said about getting in contact with Mr. Eric Holtzman. I just want to know if there is a phone number you can be reached by directly, so I don't get the runaround.
Sure, but I'm not a board member. So my extension's 1131. That's just the district number.
Mr. Holtzman's the business manager, but he oversees transportation.
Okay.
That's why I directed you to him.
Okay.
Or again, he can put you in touch with the
Okay.
person who maybe our transportation specifically director.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No one else wants to speak. Moving on to the next item, which is board reports. Anybody have anything to report? Any meetings? Anything coming up?
Facilities is coming up 6:30 p.m. on September 21st.
Okay. Thank you.
And policy is meeting
Yeah,
next
coming
Monday,
up.
I think.
Yeah, at 1. I believe it's 1.
Policy is one.
At
That's
1.
what I have on my schedule.
Policy at 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, next Monday.
Okay. Thank
What
you.
was the time of the Learning Center?
6 o'clock. I was just
On
sending
when?
them an email, let them know that you're the replacement.
Okay, when?
6 o'clock. I'm going to send you the link for the meeting.
Excellent, thank you.
Actually, I'm going to do it now.
Mrs. Terrell, did we set a date for an academic and like I know
I
we
have
one
down it's the
October-
first week in October.
It's October 8th. I
Yeah.
just didn't want, I wanted to make sure that's when we're going to meet. That's
Well,
fine.
as of now, that's when we're going to
Okay,
meet.
thank
Okay.
you.
If that changes, we'll let everybody know.
Academic, October 8th.
At 9 in the morning?
I think that's what we said. No, I thought it was later, right, Dr. Royer? Didn't you say you wanted him
Send it
later?
to
I
me.
have the 7th.
If you
I don't
get
have
it.
anything. I have the 7th at 12.
Okay,
Something
that
this
sounds right, 12
This-
o'clock. Yeah, it's
sometime
October
this
7th,
week.
not
Okay.
8th.
Yeah, it's like
October
a
7th?
Zoom.
At what time?
12 o'clock.
Can you
Well-
get me to?
I have the 8th at 12,
Yes.
and then number I have,
That one, the 18th, I have another meeting at 1:30, so
Do you want to move it earlier?
usually it's at 1:30. Can we make it 11:30?
I don't care. It doesn't
Does
matter.
that work? Okay, I thought you had to.
I can be here as early as 10:30
All right, let's do 11:30
on the 18th.
on the 18th of November.
11:30.
That's the next academic after the October one.
18th of November.
And then the other one's October. That is October 7. Oh, you got that one already.
What time in November?
Noon. Oh, November is going to be 11:30.
Oh, it's gonna be
The
11:30.
18th.
Yeah, just in case we need 2
11:30
hours.
also.
7.
I can do it.
7.
Okay, good with board reports. All right, on to business personnel, Dr. Sternheim.
I'd like to direct your attention to the 2 personnel items listed. We have resignation of supervisory staff, termination of support staff. We have additional requests for leaves as listed, transfer for support staff, appointments of support staff, appointments of coaching staff, appointments to substitute staff. The other item, I thought I had to do as a handout, but it looks like it's in the board docs. We have an additional appointments of support staff, appointments of coaching staff, and so the recommendation is to approve as listed.
Questions for Dr. Sternheim? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item, bus drivers. Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. We have 1 driver for addition to McLeaf Bus Lines. They've met the criteria to be added, so we're asking for your approval.
Questions for Mr. Holtzman? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, non-public transportation contracts, Mr. Holtzman.
Thank you. We have 2 contracts that we approve annually with 2 of the non-publics. And these do it actually at the actual PDE rate. For many reasons, we were kind of waiting to make sure the school year was going to start and see how this is going this year. So they are providing transportation obviously already, but they're the same contracts as the previous year. It's just the new year. And of course, on this one, there are no minimum transportation days on these schedules.
Okay. Questions?
Yes, if we end up in, remote schooling, do we still pay?
Well, that's a great question. So obviously, if they go to remote schooling, then we would not have to pay because there's no minimum contract transportation days in here. Now, there's a great question, and some districts are kind of discussing this. What happens if the school district goes to virtual, but the non-public does not? And so that's something I think we probably still have to
That's
talk about a
already
little bit
happening.
further.
That's happening because like Shalom is open, but Chambersburg is closed.
Yeah.
But they still have to transport.
Right, and there's been a varying information. Some districts are, some districts are not, and so I think there's more to discuss with that. Luckily, we're not in that situation at this point.
Is there some information from the state about that, what they're recommending?
I've heard, not from the state, but I've heard from different school business officials as well as their solicitors, so to speak, on that
I
topic.
can't imagine that would fly, that you wouldn't have to transport them.
Yeah,
We
I
have
know.
to transport them,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, if they're open.
I think where some of them argue the point is that, if it's something we aren't offering our students, you're not offering it to them. That's the
Okay.
argument.
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
they're making.
Okay.
Whether it's right or wrong.
Right. Okay, ready to vote on this? Do we have a motion? Okay, all those in favor? Oh, we needed a motion or we have one? Okay, sorry. Thank you, Mr.
Move
Wingert.
to approve.
How about Mr. Wingert? Second, Ms. Spectel? Good. Okay, all those in
Yes.
favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Act 13, more transportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Holtzman again.
Thank you. So if you remember, Act 13 of 2020 was basically, the concept was that bus contractors that kept their staff employed and keep them off of unemployment, we would go ahead and pay a percentage. And the district did go ahead and approve agreements with our 2 major contractors. It's taken some time, but now we've contacted with the same 2 non-publics and reached out to them, and they are willing to do the same thing. They have also kept theirs employed during that time as well. And so the agreements do mirror that. It's about $15,000 between the two, and then we get about half of that reimbursed back to the district. So again, they did the right thing. They kept the people employed, which was the kind of the goal of Act 13. And so we're presenting this for your discussion and action.
Questions?
So you're saying if we go virtual, we still pay the bus drivers?
Well, going forward this year, that's a great discussion. So we do have a minimum number of transportation days in our contracts with our major contractors, but I'm sure that that could probably be a discussion with them. I know they worked with us last year, and so I'm sure that that would be a goal, is to try to find something that would be equitable and would work. Obviously, if there's a lot of districts going in that direction, it's going to affect a little bit with the Pennsylvania Department of Education, because they actually, sorry, I know you can't hear me. So they, the formula that they use is based on actual transportation. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pressure if districts go virtual in the middle of the year or at some point, as to whether or not, if we pay those contractors, whether we can still get some reimbursement back from the state. So that's something that has not been kind of ironed out really at the state level at this point. So right now, I guess maybe to go back to answer your original question, right now we do have a minimum number of transportation days with our major contractors, but not with our non-publics, with those two there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one other question. What is our minimum number of days?
It's 178.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, nothing else? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, district credit cards. I assume that's Mr. Holtzman as well.
Yes, ma'am. This item here is with our credit cards. It does not authorize the person to do anything with the actual credit card other than to contact the company to ask questions and try to confirm some additional information back and forth. So they can't change credit limits. They can't add cards. They can't do anything like that, but the credit card company won't talk to the person unless they're actually approved to talk to the person for those 3 accounts that we have. And my apologies, we had the previous person in accounts payable still on there, but we didn't have any questions for the last year. We didn't think about the fact that we needed to switch that over. So I should have switched this over whenever that person was identified a year ago, but we just had no questions come up recently. So now that it has, we need your approval that would allow Ms. McAllister to go ahead and contact the credit card company with any questions or issues we would have, and then process it from there.
Questions? Motion to approve?
So moved. So moved. Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, LiU agreement. And is that
Either way.
It had business.
It does say business.
So I didn't mind.
That was good. Thank you. So we have 3 agreements here. These are, I don't like to just use the term pass-through money, but these are programs that we work with the IU on. 3 different ones that you see here. It's Section 619. It's the LiU IDEA funds and the Title II for adult education. So these are very routine. We do this typically every year. And so we're asking for your approval to continue to do that process.
Questions? Motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Another LiU addendum.
This is me, Mrs. Harold.
Okay.
This is
LiU. That's an LLN.
Yeah.
Sorry.
that's fine. This is an agreement to increase our bandwidth for another gig of internet for $411 additional per month pre-E-rate. We're hoping that the E-rate USAC comes through and allows us to reopen that so that we can go back and get our 60% discount on this. As you know, the internet usage has gone up and so forth here at the district, and I think any of the administrators down there in the room can probably testify that we need some more bandwidth. It was pretty crazy last week when we maxed out both of our 1 gig connections midweek last week. So it was an eye-opening day to say the least.
Okay.
I thought we approved this before.
That was just for 500 megs, and that was not enough.
You're right. This was just a meeting ago.
Okay. Sorry, I.
No, you're correct. You're right.
More questions for Mr. Erickson?
Yep.
If not, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Fund balance info, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. There was a benefit, a retirement benefit or incentive that was in place that ended in 2013. So that benefit that anyone had accrued or had earned at that point was basically frozen. And so as those employees resign or retire, they get to go ahead and take that benefit with them, and it's paid out to them. I can remember about 5 years ago, there was a little over $600,000. Again, every year as we go through and we have people retire and resign, we identify what that amount is, we pay it out. And we had money set aside in the committed fund. And so what we do then is we transfer that money to come over to the unassigned fund to kind of cover that cost, so to speak, for the district. So again, the funds were committed, and as we use them up, we move them over into the unassigned piece, if that makes any sense. And right now what we're doing is we've used up about $60,000, and that draws down this pre-2013 retirement incentive down to about $317,000.
So you're taking out based on how much you're paying out.
Correct. And all we're doing is just moving it from committed to unassigned then at that point, because we've effectively paid it out of the fund balance. Sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Well, this says financial business, so it seems like everything we just voted on was financial business. Mr. Holtzman, bills for payment.
Yes, ma'am. We have the check registers for Fund 10, which is the general fund, and Fund 50, which is the cafeteria, as well as the purchase orders for both sets there under the September 8th purchase orders item. I don't know if you want me to go to the next one or just. Or
Sure,
stop
go
here.
ahead.
Then next below that, we have August exonerations. And basically those are exonerations for not only current year bills, but also previous year bills from JP Harris that they've identified.
Okay. Anybody see anything in the financials that they would like to ask about or comment on? If not, do we have a motion to approve the bills for payment and the August exonerations?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so Mr. Strike for the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, on to comments, Clayton Cabinet comments. Dr. Klein or anybody else? Mr. Hine, anybody?
Just want to thank everyone for, I think, by all accounts, an outstanding start of the school year.
Yeah.
We've worked really, really hard over the course of the summer, basically planning for a variety of scenarios. And I just want to thank the principals, the teachers, support staff, Clayton Avenue, school board members. Thank you for your support, the families, the parents. I mean, I keep saying this year more than ever, we're really going to rely on parental partnerships to get through this year and to make sure that, we're doing everything the very best for our students, our learners. So thank you to the people in this audience and around this table. Been better than expected. I think that first day I got home earlier the first day of school than I did all summer. So it was.
Well, I tried to mix parents, children, teachers, kids, and overwhelmingly positive. So yeah, appreciate what you guys are doing, all of you.
My grandchildren love both the high school and my grandson. I was concerned about wearing a mask. He thinks it's great. He doesn't have any problems with it. And I was really concerned about that. So.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
they think it's cool to have to wear this mask.
Okay.
Kindergarten shoes them up. But
That's
that's
it.
I mean, if you want your heart to be full, go out when the kids are going outside. They're wearing their masks. They get out. They spread their distance. They know what pool distance is. Noodle distance. Sorry.
Yeah.
They get themselves noodle distance thanks to Mrs. Akers,
Yeah.
and then their masks are down. They play their game. Like they're doing great.
That's
If
awesome.
they're playing something that's close together. They're can I have a mask? Great. They move themselves away. Like it is not a kid problem.
Well, and I have to think too, I mean, you guys are enforcing it very positively, but the parents are too. Because if the parents were not, then you'd be having
Yes.
issues that I haven't heard that we've had. So
That's exactly right.
really good.
Absolutely. We keep thanking parents as well.
Yeah.
And I've gotten feedback from a teacher that the Wednesday virtual schooling is very welcome. I mean, it's working out very well for them. They may not like it in October when we stop it.
With all the extra they're having to do, having that Wednesday seems to be good, at least for now.
And we did some front loading prior to the beginning of the school year, but I mean, it's like we're balancing, the hybrid learning model, the remote Wednesdays, traditional schooling, and, obviously in the back of our heads, the possibility of a virtual down the road if something else would happen. But we're encouraged. I think overall we've had an outstanding start. I want to thank everybody.
Any other board comments on any issue, not just the opening of school? Okay, if not, I don't think we have anybody left for public comment. So we are going to go into executive session. We will not be coming back. So if I can have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.